Hi, welcome to the fifth and last part of our OCR for Scholars guide. In this section, we will show you how to download and use an OCR solution on your laptop, which includes pre- and post-processing steps. In other words, most of the things you have learned to operate in part 3 and 4 of this course are handled automatically here. Still, it is useful to be aware of the nitty-gritty so you really know what the advantages of this particular solution are and whether it works for you. The tool is called Rescribe, like our company, imaginatively enough. What it does concretely is the following. When you run it over a directory of images, it binarizes them at several thresholds and wipes the margins clean. It then OCRs each version. Once finished with these processes, it picks the best result from the 3 binarized OCR versions and selects them for the final output. This final output comes in several formats. One folder with all the text files, one folder with hOCR files, a special file format Tesseract can produce, a searchable PDF of the book, and one graph that gives you an overview of how well the OCR did. This graph can help you assess the results and spot pages that did not turn out so well. You can then either have a look at the text file and the page image to figure out what the problem was and fix it, needs must, or you just leave it. In the following, we are going to show you how to install it, very easily in fact, and then we'll run the command on a test book. The book will be very short, because the whole program can take a little while. Firstly, because it is pre-processing all these files, and secondly, because it is OCRing each page in 3 different versions. If you want to OCR a really large book, we recommend leaving the process running on your computer whilst you're doing something else.
The Rescribe tool consists of just one executable, which includes Tesseract and everything else it needs to operate. It is available for Windows, Linux and Mac. If you've not installed Tesseract on your computer yet, you won't need to do so. The Rescribe package already contains it. To install the tool, just go to rescribe.xyz/rescribe. Find the correct version for your operating system and click the link to download the tool. The tool will be saved in your default download folder, but we would recommend moving it somewhere close to the files you're processing. This is because you need to either be in the same directory where the Rescribe tool is saved, or alternatively, give the full file path to its location when you run the command. As with all of our favourite tools, Rescribe is a command line tool, so you should first open up a terminal window. Refer back to our second module if you aren't sure how to do this. You can run the tool from anywhere, provided you give the full path to it. However, it's definitely easier to just navigate to the directory where the tool is instead. Remove your folder with page images there. If you're in the directory, you can run the tool by just typing rescribe in the command line. This will print a brief message of how to run it. The basic usage is just rescribe followed by the name of the directory containing your image files. One important caveat to note is that the Rescribe tool currently requires all images to be named ending with a 4-digit number, for example 0001.jpg or mybook0023.jpg. If the names of your image do not look like that, you will have to rename them for the program to work. The Rescribe tool comes with several OCR models built in, which you can see listed when you run the rescribe command with nothing after it. The tool will use a model we have trained for historic fonts by default. To select a different model, use the -T option, for example -T ing.trainData to select the English model. If you want to use a model you've downloaded from elsewhere, just put it in the same directory you're running rescribe from and use -T with the name of the trainData file you've downloaded. Let's do a quick test run of the Rescribe tool so you can see how it works. We've created a directory called testbook with 3 image files in it. We can process everything in the directory by just running rescribe testbook. You can see the Rescribe tool going through the steps of pre-processing, OCRing, and analysing all of the book's images. As mentioned before, during pre-processing, each page is binarized at 3 different thresholds, and the margins are cleaned up. If your book had annotations or marginalia, then these will be removed for the sake of a better overall result. The OCR step normally takes the longest, and you can see the dots gradually tick along as it's working. Once it's finished, let's take another look at the testbook directory.
The Rescribe tool not only does the pre-processing of images for you, it also prepares the output in several formats in the hope that they will be useful for different reasons. If you check the original directory with the page images after you have run them through the Rescribe tool, you will find several different folders and files. We'll explain them one by one. First, for those who are interested in working with the format, we have created a directory with the hOCR file. As said before, hOCR as a format preserves more information than just the raw text, such as the formatting and the word confidence determined by Tesseract. You can open these files with a web browser to look at them. Here you can see that the formatting is still preserved. If you let your mouse hover over a word, you'll see the coordinates on the page after BB box, and the word confidence under WConf. Secondly, there's a directory called text, which contains the OCR text for each image, all in individual files. As explained in the last lesson, if you need the whole text in one big file rather than split up in single pages, there's a nifty way in the command line to do this with the following command. To be precise, this command reads the content of each page and then appends it to a file called testbook.txt. The star on the command line stands for a type of wildcard. A wildcard is nothing other than a placeholder for any number of unknown characters. Consequently, star text refers to every file that ends with txt in the specified directory, no matter what comes before. Cat reads the context of each text file specified. The greater than sign writes this content to the textbook.txt file. Since you point this command at *txt, each text file in the directory is appended in alphabetical order to testbook.txt. You will also find a searchable PDF in the directory, which has been created using the original images and the hOCR. If you open it and search for a word, you should easily find the page and the word should be highlighted. Sometimes the coordinates can be a little bit off, but rarely so far off that you would not be able to locate the word that you are looking for. There's one caveat with the PDF. In order to give it a manageable size, the image quality is reduced a bit. In the majority of cases, the resulting PDF is still perfectly good for use. If the initial file was already of low resolution, the final PDF might not be legible. This should not be a problem if the files initially submitted were of a good resolution, but if they were very small to start with, you might end up with a searchable but illegible PDF. Lastly, there's a file called graph in the book directory. The graph, ingeniously, shows you how your OCR process went. In other words, how good a job Tesseract believes it has done. Click on Graph to open it. It's just a normal image. The file maps the so-called confidence rating for each page image that has been OCR'd. This is a rating for the probability with which the engine thinks it has done a good job. When Tesseract OCRs a page, it has no way of telling how accurately it really has transcribed it. However, the confidence tells you how secure the machine is in its own output. Although confidence and accuracy are not the same thing, they are still proportionally related. Better output tends to have higher confidence if the right OCR model is used. The graph, therefore, gives you a good qualitative overview of how the process went. OCR confidence can be affected by several things. If a page just contains a text block in an uncomplicated font and you are using the correct language model, the rating will be pretty high. However, if there are unrecognizable items on the page is skewed or contains pictures, the confidence will include some very low scores. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's all gone bad, but you will see some dips in the graph. You can find the numbers for pages with bad confidence rating, and if you are curious, you can look at the page in the PDF file or the original image to see what might have caused the issue, and whether you can fix it or ignore it.
This is the last module of our course. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to read more about this topic, we have a blog on our website focused on issues and developments around OCR for scholars. For example, you'll find more information about the technology behind binarization, and also a quick introduction to our Rescribe tool. The latinocr.org page contains our latest models for historic fonts, if you need them. All in all, we hope you enjoyed the course and have learnt all you need to know to do your own OCR.